All right. Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to Show and Prove. Bruh, it be one. But there we go. Just okay. All right, here we go. So today, this strong, we talking about British colonization, and the movie RRR, right? Um, I will say, if you haven't, well, basically this conversation started last strong when Chief asked, for sure, Ashoti Yafe, asked me to go in on British colonization and and whatnot. Which was a good podcast. It was good. And if you didn't catch the one this strong, is another good one because that's like what the conversation you want to have with you. Like, hey, Chief, what you read? But sometimes you don't. But it's like, oh, but I liked it just because some of the books that he was talking about. For me, it brings up a memory. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, man, my mama told me to get that dang book. I ain't even got that book. I gotta put that one. Or what? Miseducation of the Negro. I remember I had to read that for English class, which in high school, which was I thought weird, but my teacher at that time, he used to always, he was sort of weird. He used to always say, I wish I had the pleasure and honor to go to an HBCU. I was like, man, can we just look at him stupid? Or what? When he was talking about like Mary Lefkowitz and things like that, I was like, I remember Papa used to always say, "Shit, kid." He used to say a real cool, kid. It'd be funny, man. So we man, I'm telling you, we got a lot to cover when it comes to um British colonization. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's a lot, and sometimes you have to give a little bit of background or a lot of background. And like Chief said in his recent one, sometimes you do a lot of research and you're just looking for a word or you're looking for a sentence, you're looking for a year, you're looking for a picture. Look for a picture. Sometimes I'm looking for a picture. You look for a picture. You're looking for words. You're looking for a whole bunch of things, and it just doesn't take one source at times. It takes a gang of sources. You know what I'm saying? And it takes historiography where you gotta look at where they got it from, and then you gotta, man, it be a fact finder mention, but that's why you dig. You know what I'm talking about? You literally be a detective in it all. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, man. So peace, Master Menelec, and peace, Emily Yakira Eden. I see you, brother Rami. What's up with you? I don't want to say, yo. I guess. What's up with you? I had to say. Oh man, DJ, man, Schmuddy, man. Let me tell you, like when I was researching, right. I was researching pictures, and I saw a woman, a Dravidian woman, and she looked just like you, but she was older, and she had, tiger eyes. I was like, that looked like. I know who that looked like. I was like, oh, see, it's there. You. But yeah, man. But okay. So let's get into it. So here we go. All right. So this is British colonization of India. That's what we own. Just in case people don't know. Make sure I do that. All right. Now, I'm going to cover a little bit. Like I say, I wouldn't cover a lot in uh Triple R, but this is something that I found, or at least thought of, um when I watched uh Trip RRR, really, which is Rise, Revolt, and Roar. I thought of the Lions, and then I started researching. And for those that don't know, that symbol is also the national crest for or emblem for India, and it's called the Ashoka pillar. Okay, now Ashoka, if you don't know, was king. It was a warrior king of the Mauryan Empire, right? And but he had these pillared stone pillar statues of what's called the Four Lions, And one thing about him, he was a warrior king who converted to Buddhism and went the peaceful route, right? So he had these four lions, as they say, these pillars, and in his capital, and well, they're supposed to represent, well, one, the four corners, northwest, east, south, but also the four noble truths, as in Buddhism, Now, if you ask me what's the four noble truths, like, I'm like, I know them, but I don't know them off top. But it has but like even the pillar has a lot of symbolism. You have the see, here we go, trying to break it down. What's it called? The okay, I ain't gonna try because I ain't about to stumble. But yeah, there's a lot of symbolism in this one emblem, that you really have to pay attention to, and everything represents something, for sure. Okay, what's up, Memo Queen? So I'm going to show you now. This is the Mauryan Empire, right? So that's from 321 to 185 BCE, and then you see that the um main empire or main territory, or is in the north, for sure. So I just wanted to show that. But when you think of Mauryan and Mari and things like that, I know your mind would think of more, at least that's where my mind went. Because when I first, like, I wanted to see this movie, which is called The Shoka, with Shah Rukh Khan in it, and when I heard the name, I was like, that's a good shot. Come on. No, that don't sound like you. Like, don't sound like that. But it is what it is. So yeah. So let's talk about it, right? Because in the previous Chief Yuya podcast, he talked about the Indians being Kushites. So let's get into it. This is the Hindu Kush region, or Indus Kush region, because of the Indus Valley. But as you can see, this place was called what? Kush. It's pretty self-explanatory. Those Kushites that migrated in that region. And also south. And so, oh, true. Okay, peace, Chief. I just see him in there. One, life is suffering. Two, oh, he breaking down the four truths, right? Okay, so life is suffering. Yeah, I know. Well, I might as well just show it since he in here. We must find the cause of suffering. There is an end to suffering, and there is a path that ends all suffering. See? So give thanks, Chief. I, appreciate that one, man. So now, okay. Now let's read. This is from one of the books. Chief gave the stroke. you know, even the name Hindu is Ethiopian. um, Ancient records of authority made Hind and Sind um, sons of Cush. Philostratus envied Apollyon lived too, says the Indi are the wisest of mankind. The Ethiopians are a colony of them, and they inherit the wisdom of their fathers, from one of their Ethiopians, the ancient Kushite empires by, you know, um, Drusilla Houston. I've always said Drusilla. I never give the whole name, know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so now you sort of get a background on where that came from, and if you like pay attention, I don't think it shows. No, don't have the man. It don't have the name. I thought it did. But if you pay attention to that Hindu Kush region, there is a place called Sind, but it's spelled C, well, SC, I think HINDE. But same thing. I found that interesting. Like, but that's the same. Okay, so but yeah, there is a region that was called that in that in that northern Hindus Kush. And then again, here we go. Now, the Dravidians in ethnic type are Ethiopian and are the race of Indian from which her civilization originated. Dravidians are short, like the race Mediterranean called Iberians, and the yeah, I say Chaldeans. Chaldeans are Chaldeans, but Chaldeans. um, their complexion are black or very dark. Their hair is plentiful and crispy. Their head are elongated, with nose very broad. They occupy the oldest geological formations in India. They are descendants of that race of black men with short woolly hair that were the primitive inhabitants of ancient Media, Sasania, and Persia, mentioned repeatedly in the Iranian legends. So, you know, usually, you get the Dravidians inhabiting the southern region, while the Aryans who come later, in a sense, inhabit the north region, and sometimes they fight or they intermarry and things like that. But don't get it twisted, like you said, that the Aryans are, from Deutschland. Say it like that. No, but yes, they also came also in that region as well. So now, let me see. Oh, now when you watch the movie, you gotta understand that this is a Telugu film. It's not a Bollywood film. Don't get twisted. It's Telugu, and Telugu is one of the regions in the South. Where just like Tamil, Tamil Nadu, southern regions. So also when you're watching that, don't get it twisted. They have their own language and everything. It's not the same Hindi. Of course they'll have Hindi dubs and things like that, but you also have to realize that India itself have many ethnicities and with their own languages and cultures. So yeah. Now, the Mughal Empire from 1526 to 1857. Now, to understand what was going on, before British colonization, you have to understand what came before, and that was the Mughal Empire. Islamic and My Baba used to always say, "Study the Mughals, man," and they had very interesting technological advancements in certain parts of their time. You know, one thing I liked about them was how they made castles, you know, and things like that. You know, but yeah, but when the British come, their power is waning. You know, they're on decline, and at first, you know, um, they basically, you know, the British come for trade, you know, and you know the Mughals, you know, let them, you know, they let them establish what they call factories, you know, in India, you know. Now, mind you, just because the British are there, don't mean that nobody else is there. You know, you have also the Portuguese, and they basically have control of the port of Goa, which is in the southwest. And then you also have the French. The French is also in the southeast. You know, so just don't think that you know it's just the British that also was smelling money. You know, really the Portuguese got there first and things like that. But yeah, um, let me see. Okay, so peace out to Gertrude. Now, now if you have not seen, you know, basically the movies of Pirates of the Caribbean, you know, this is basically one of the flags of the East India Company. I'm so used to calling it the East India Trading Company, right? Now they have their own emblem, you know, independent, you know, it changes, but they come in um, to India, right? What was, like I said, was supposed to be for trade, but they realized, oh, we can do more. You know, we can run things. We can run things here. You know, because they see, you know, the Mughals is on decline, and they're having their own problems with, you know, different ethnicities like the Marathas and Rajputs and things like that. So their power is reigning. You know, and they see, you know, they see blood, and so hey, they they not only want, you know, the resources, but they also want the power there. And so here's a person that you should, another thing you should know before I forget. Um, some famous people also at that time during when the East India Trading Company ran India. Um, one by us being here, um, General Cornwallis, basically the British general that, you know, was the commander, you know, basically in chief of the during the Revolutionary War. They, you know, lost. You know, he, you know, I know probably you hear nothing about him. Well, after he lost, you know, the colonies, you know, the 13 colonies, you know, he got transferred to be the Governor General of India. You know, that's one person. Actually, he's buried there. He's buried in India, you know, and G word. What's Granji poor? I don't. I can't say it, but yeah, but he's actually buried there. So that's one. That's one person. Another person, who is also East India Company military general, the Duke of Wellington. Who's the Duke of Wellington? The Duke of Wellington fought Napoleon that famous Battle of Waterloo. You know, he was also there. You you know, just in case you know you don't know, you know. But yeah, those two people were there. So you can lose, you can lose colonies, you can lose and have them gain independence. You get transferred. We gonna see you there. But yeah, he worked. The Duke of Wellington worked for the East India Company, and was a military officer there. But fun facts, fun facts. Now this person, Robert Clive, is a person you ought to a person to note, right? Because he fights in the Battle of Plassey, right, in 1757, right? And by fighting in this battle, he literally gains the Bengal region for the East India Trading Company, not Britain yet, but the East India Trading Company. But another thing that he does, the East India Trading Company had its own standing army, and one thing that he does, or he switches up, he makes full Indian regiments with British officers, which didn't happen sort of at the time, but you're going to see that, this, you could say this marvel, or this good idea actually goes into the British colonial system when it comes to the military. But yeah, he puts that into place, what I'm saying, which sort of causes a detriment when basically the East India Company lose power, or lose control over the the controlled regions in India, to the British government, all because of the mutiny of 1857, which is the COP. I have problems saying it myself, but COP mutiny, which is basically when those Indian regiments mutiny against their British officers. And then the crown has to come in and they just take over. They like, okay, y'all got to go, because it's a very brutal mutiny in the sense, you got these mutineers, killing not only officers but also British and women, inhabitants, that there, and then in turn, because of that brutality, the British get equal brutality. Like one thing that they do, okay. let's see, Chief say, Emperor Jahangir, controlling the Mughal Empire, still dwarf Elizabeth I, and these rats will be traitors. Yeah, bruh, I'm not gonna because one thing you would say, the one, I mean, see when she talk, I be whatever. I mean, because one thing you could say about the Mughals is that, or people don't know, is that they had their own navy. The Mughals had their own navy. You know what I'm saying? And they were making money, and they made it wasn't, but you could say that they sort of put India trade global. They made Indian trade global. I say it like that. I was say they blew up like the world trade, but they made Indian trade global. You know what I'm saying? But and with those riches, they was able to make ships and have their own navy, and things like that. The CK to the begging for a seat they were banging, they you know how they get, they act like they're humble and poor, but when they see blood, them boys, like, oh, Oh, you don't have control like you really you really show off. I mean, you stun, but you got a couple of problems. Yeah, but but for sure, Chief, they begging, for a seat at the table, and then they but musket, you know, you gonna get your seat at the table. Okay, things like things like that, but they also do shrewd things, what I'm talking about. When it comes to that as well, for sure, man, you know. But yeah, you have that, so you have this corporation that actually runs a territories and the country, and also you got to remember, Robert Clyde, they have these, Indian regiments basically combat the French in the South, who were also there. That was another reason for those for those military units, to really fight the South. I can't say the same thing about the Portuguese and Gora, but the French for sure. And then the three, and then the three, basically main armies came from Bengal, Madras, and Bombay. Yeah. So in order for you to remember it, BMB, Bombay, Bengal, well, BMB, Bombay, Madras, and Bengal. Those were the regions that had the three main armies, So yeah. Okay. Now, so after that goes down, and the British, where the crown cleans up house and kick, basically the EIC out. Now you get the British Raj, from 1858 to 1947. You know what I'm talking about? And one thing I would say, look at, well, one, this is the actual flag at one point in time of the British Raj, and also look at how big it is. You got a few Southeast Asian territories. You got the North up here. It's neighboring Afghanistan. I can tell you that for sure. So it's a lot. That is a lot of territory for one. And that is a lot of people. You know. Now, let's see. Let me show. Now, now we're gonna talk about the money train, right? Estimated at 45 trillion. What I mean by that is, um, the British gave incentives to companies in Britain to build these railroads to funnel out Indian resources back home to Britain. That's why the railroads were built. To basically funnel out the resources to British ports in India, and then ship them back home, and it's estimated today at 45 trillion dollars, what I'm talking about, which is you know it's an age old it's an age old ploy, when it comes to colonialism, you build infrastructure, steal the resources, and bring them home. You know what I'm talking about? And that's what happens. This grand railroad scheme. They give incentives, just to build these railroads, and whatnot. And basically, this is what is funding the Industrial Revolution. Because it's the time of the Industrial Revolution, for those that don't know. Mind you, you look at this place, and it's like all this to fund that, big factories, with coal and bad air, and things like that. But yeah. I'm talking about all of that, man. All of that to fund that, to bring all of that there. But also, to destabilize, Indian trade. They like I said, they had global trading resources, you know what I'm saying? And the Mughals, were good at it, you know what I'm saying? And which comes with colonial powers. You destabilize, the population and things like that to and take their resources and take their way of trade and making money, for themselves, so they can rely on you, the British government, you know, and things like that, you know, you know, and make them what? Impoverished. You know what I'm saying? You get that, what I'm talking about. That's all that's going to do. And I'll show you, like if you look at the world share of GDP, during from basically zero BCE or BC, or after common era, you see that India has a vast, you say, a good chunk of the world share of gross domestic product, right? For those who don't know what GDP is, you know. And then as time goes on, and then what you see by 1820, it shrinks gigantically, and then from 1913, then 1998, then basically 2016. That's something to pay attention to. Because you're going to have people, especially during, the passing of Queen Elizabeth. You have people saying, the British gave the Indian, the colonial powers, all these things. Nobody tells you what they took. We gave you this, we gave you democracy, we gave you English, we gave you the English language, we gave you this, we gave you culture, we gave you civilization, but what did you take, bro? Like, oh, we ain't gonna talk about that. But yeah, okay. So you have that, and that just show you, because that man, yeah, we can look into that. But how you can have your own economics, and then somebody comes in and colonize you and takes your economics away. You know what I'm saying? And basically bring you their economics. One valuable resource that India had and was known for was its textiles. Its cotton and its cloth and things like that, which they did by basically looms, wooden looms and things like that. But with the Industrial Revolution and in Britain, then you had mechanized looms, which inferior. It was an inferior product because it's mechanized loom, not hand, but you can get, it was quicker. It was quicker to get. And so what do the British do? They destabilize that resource by tariffs and telling, the inhabitants that they can't use these looms, and they break their looms and probably, hey, we see you looming, we're gonna break your fingers too, things like that, to make them not loom anymore, but also make them reliant on what? The mechanized, the textiles that they would export, or import into India. We're gonna, you're probably known for making textiles, but we're gonna take all of that away so you can buy from us. It's okay if it's not better than y'all's, but you're gonna buy from us, things like that. That's one. Another part of research. I didn't research too much but steel. When it comes to Indian steel, something I want to focus on, but I forgot about it. But yeah, now this is it's Queen Vicky wants wants you. um, I came up, personally, I came up with that, what I'm talking about, and things like that, because, like I said, this during World War One and World War Two, I guess people don't know that, the British and the Army made up a bulk of, the British forces, made, had a lot of them. But one thing you pay attention to is the British recruitment for the British Indian Army and where they went, and how how documented and how sort of sociological, psychological they were, as they recruited from ethnicities, religious and caste, religion and caste, and they and things like that, and then they'll document them, say, this is a good place, what I'm talking about, and things like this, they pay attention to things like that, but also by joining the British Army, because India has a caste system, in the British, Indian Army, you don't have to worry about that, and things like that. But sometimes that does sometimes cause a problem, like with the East Indian Company. One thing that started to move mutiny is because basically the cartridges, it was it was felt that if you basically because you had to fight the cartridges, if you did that, based on the culture, you would be seen as an infidel and things like that. So that was another reason why they didn't want to do it or anything like that. But also, because of that, and using, basically Clive's model, you see that you basically the recruitment, mostly they came from the Punjab region, from Nepal, and basically basically the upper northern frontier, those three regions. And one thing when it comes to Nepal, one of the uh, famous regiments is the Gurkha regiments, which is also still in the British Army to this day. What I'm talking about. Hey man, when break off Governor Buxton and all this history, man, they break off Governor Buxton. And like, well, I don't want to say in the end, but I mean, like when it comes to them, you know, they break them off with one on horseback, one on horseback, and one on motorcycle. One on horseback and one on motorcycle, man. Body move broke. That's myself. Well, I mean, the Bollywood bromance is cool because you see how one, like she was saying, both of them are both revolutionaries. One's basically, they're both silent operatives in a sense, what I'm talking about. And one, is like deep undercover, like one is basically on the outside, one is deep undercover, working for the British, like as a policeman, and then he's going to be a special officer just so he can basically, be basically what we would call an armorer, to get into, the weapons cache, of the governors, for the British Army, for sure. And they sort of conflict in a sense, one job, one's mission conflicts with the other's mission, and they butt heads that way, what I'm talking about. But that was the cool thing about it, because once they figure out that they're on the same side, they unite, in a way that is very like, it's godlike in the sense, or deity like, what I'm saying? It's even in the film, you know what I'm talking about? Which is cool. But you see, man, if you've seen it in one, you've seen them at all, that deity aspect in those type of films, especially when it comes to the British, you know what I'm saying? Oh, hold on. There you go. Oh, back to the history. Don't let them distract you and get you breaking down the movie. Well, I was, I look issue, I'm talking about. I ain't gonna not, do not, do favors, you know what I'm saying? But hey, if you want to know about it, I'm gonna tell you about it, you know what I'm talking about? But it's you, I ain't gonna tell you no, But you ain't taking me off the square, because I can still go back to the history at any point in time. I feel like because it never leaves me. Don't leave. The train don't stop. Keep on going. It was cool. They didn't need to speak to. They had an understanding. Yeah, they had an understanding. But also in the film, like you see, because one of my favorite actors, who had a cameo appearance, Ajay Devine, right? What was he? He was also in the British military, well, the British Indian Army, and he gets out, and what he basically teaches the rebels how to fight, and military tactics and things like that, and strategies and stuff. And he says load, which was cool, and then you see, basically, Raju, he's a sniper. Nah, you gotta understand. Well, it can be done, but you also gotta understand that this is like after World War One, and him sniping like that, with iron sights. Not saying he could, but reason why it's computerized for a reason, in a sense, but it can be done, usually you use a scope by this time, but I mean, hey, some can do it, like the White Death, White Death, he could snipe. What I'm talking about. But yes, so now, now we go back to the history, because I think I was talking about, this is after the movie setting is after World War One, and one thing, the British, like I said, they had their own tactics, on what they would achieve with the British Indian Army, and the British Indian Army does phenomenally well. But also they realize that the best soldiers come from basically three reasons. The northern frontier, the upper northern frontier, Punjab, and Nepal. Like I said, them Gurkhas. One thing about them Gurkhas, I always want they knives, the cookery, and what they and they would document, body type, like those from Punjab and the Sikhs and whatnot. They were tall guys, what I'm saying, tall guys and broad, what I'm saying. But the Gurkhas, short guys. Maybe that's why I liked them so much. They were short guys, they didn't go past 5 foot, 5'5". but but they, hey man, they get it. But you also have to understand that because you don't see in the film that um the majority of Indians in the army or in the military. You just see British, but that also didn't always happen. So they were the officers, of course, but they didn't make up the bulk of the army as well. You know what I'm talking about? So you don't get to see that. And another thing, um, like well, okay, like I would say like you see all the European women in the in the movie, right? Well, you know they had to be they had to been shipped in, right? Because one thing that the British didn't want, they didn't want intermarrying among the British officers, so they brought in they brought in the English women. That's so not like the Portuguese. Because the Portuguese never allowed that, but they were doing that in this hemisphere as well. That was interesting. But load, aim, shoot. That, Chief, that was like that's why I mess with him, man, because he's just so cool. Good, good actor, man. Good actor. He's like load, hey, shoot, man, and that was so cool. I'm talking about. But also, why this is set in 1920. If you go to the historical spec, a year before that, this was happening. One of the great massacres of during this time is the Jallian Jallianwala Bagh massacre, or the Amritsar massacre. April 13, 1919. Right now, how did this happen? Okay, now this is during a time as you see during the movie. There are various independence groups go like that, and because of that, the British enact a statute saying no group meetings or no people meeting more than 4 people. Right now, basically during April 13th, was doing a festival, and you have a lot of people from out of town. And this is in the bingo regions, just so you know. So you may be from out of town and not from bingo and not know about this statute. So you have these people meeting, and it's a bunch of people. Over 1,000. They say over 1,000 people were there, and so this guy, Reginald Dyer, sends in the army and starts shooting up everybody and massacring everybody, in a sense, so much so even the wounded ended up dying because they basically no one could get to them, in a sense, and things like that. But they just massacred all those people, men, women, and children, and they were climbing up. Yeah, like if you ever seen certain movies, like I've seen, like I said, I've seen more than one movie on this issue. You see people trying to climb the wall and getting shot up. It's a tourist attraction now. But yeah, man. Then you have the accounts. What I'm talking about. Basically, they also said, like, because of this incident, like Reginald Dyer is said to have saved, the colony, in the sense, saved India and things like that. But what else I want to say about this? Also, but what he does is he doesn't use Bengal troops. That's key. He doesn't use Bengal troops. He actually used Gurkhas, and you could sort of you. And if you see more than one movie on this, you can tell by the style in uniform. Gurkhas usually wear those cool hats, man. You know what I'm talking about? there's whereas more Punjab or even Muslims, they wore turban like headdresses. Different styles, but turban like headdresses. Depending on basically where you're from and your religious affiliation and things like that. But like I say, all except the Gurkhas and another one starts with a D word, but I can't say it. You know what I'm saying? Ra had a larger purpose. I almost thought he was the epitome of the colonized mind, but he was a wolf in sheep's clothing. Well, sister, y'all think I saw what a I gotta keep it. Yeah, you gotta keep it. Yeah, you gotta keep it pure, masculine. You know it. You know it. But yeah, eugenics. But yeah, you gotta keep it pure. But it, you could say he had a deeper purpose, by giving weapons and things like that. But it's like, yeah, that's deeply rooted. But then, you know, for me, it was like, where Bean, he's doing all this, furniture moving, like literature, like furniture moving and blowing up stuff for one girl, one little girl. So it's like that made it's like you can debate, but I was feeling Bean more because it's like I don't know, okay, I had a dang he that saves one life saves the world in time. That's what I thought of when he was doing what he was doing. He was using tigers and bears and deer and and things like that. Action. You're like, yeah, blowing up stuff and things like that. Ain't nobody stopping his hustle. Uh, yeah, that's Raju. Yeah, Raju. So you good. We talking about the same. Or he had a whole menagerie. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. So I mean, but with Raju, it's sort of cool because of the simple fact, he takes on basically the purpose given to him, by Baba, and shoot, even shoot, his love is his teacher's daughter. You know what I'm talking about? So that I found that to be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's a love story. Oh, sappy stuff. I thought that was cool though. And things like that. I also thought it was cool. He had bombs in the bag. It was like, love. Hey, that's how you go. And that was good. See how good it was. Like, told you action. But yeah, you keep on. But also, it shows that you keep on fighting. You know what I'm talking about? You keep on shooting. He teaches him in that point. Keep on shooting. Don't stop. Because what was happening, at least in that scene, people were dying. His wife get killed, his son gets killed, and things like that. And he keeps on telling him, load, aim, shoot. His dang on thing gets shot off, by the British snipers, what I'm saying? But this kid, talking about is taking them out, 3 of them, bang, 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 but keep on shooting. Basically, and you even see him doing with the archery, man. Still using those that teaching to even with the archery, which was also cool. but then I was like, are you Rama, Arjuna? I'm getting confused. But I mean, you doing the archery thing, Krishna. I'm just saying, he had that vibe going off. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah. Um, but also, like during one thing like even with this massacre, one thing you have to understand is that um another great recruiter for the British Indian Army was Mahatma Gandhi. He was a good proponent of that as well. Nobody I guess it's not really talked about, but yeah, he also said that Indian men should should join the British Army. It's masculine, things like that. But yeah, so okay, so uh, and Drusilla Houston, she says this condition is due to the fact also that the old industrial system of the Hindu has been destroyed once they manufactured in their homes and thus kept themselves from want. Basically talking about basically those textiles that they were so known for. And then with the incoming of the British, it was completely destroyed. You know what I'm talking about? And so from the way, what I'm talking about, Chief says, impoverished people are highly vulnerable to the machinations of individuals who are wealthier than they are. Poverty is present when there is a lack of resources, good housing, relevant education, genuine health care, and a presence of overall um, human suffering, and there was that. You know what I'm saying? There was that in space. um, for purpose was similar, though they took different angles. Well, Emily King says that almost like the like dark side of the same mission. Yeah, yeah, I feel you on that one. Who the hell? I don't know. Um. Okay, she says at this point, the cat is out of the bag about Gandhi. His status has been getting kicked over all over the globe, bruh, bruh. He was like, bruh, like for real, Gandhi raises, he this, he's that, man. It's just a lot. Yes. Maybe Martin Luther should have fact checked and not knocking it. He had to work with what he had, but you know, this is something you have to fact check before you do all of that. You know what I'm talking about? Little May could have waited a bit. She might have been rescued after they got the guns. The point was to liberate their people. Could have been Sister Liafe, because you got to remember now, this is a highly divisive culture in a sense. You have more than one ethnicity, more than one religion, more than one caste system. Not everybody's going to be on the same page. They definitely ain't going to be. Look, and that's when you sort of see that in the British Indian Army, like the Brahmins didn't want to do menial labor, the Castriels, the warrior classes, gung ho, and then the Dalit, they just want to prove themselves, what I'm talking about? Like we fight too, you know what I'm saying? So you can say, in hindsight that yeah, it was for the liberation of their people, but also you have to think about, um could it have been, or could it have been an insurrection easily quelled? Because who has all the resources? The British do. and they could easily send soldiers, from any direction, from any port, and things like that. They ain't fighting the Germans no more, and things like that. But yeah, man. I mean, it sort of it. I mean, you can say that, but then you sort of have to look. Could it have worked? Could it have won? This is a movie. This is a movie. Could they all have been on one accord? Shoot, even all the dang on independent groups that they had won all on one accord, and they all had different ideas and what they wanted to do, and some wanted to be militant, some wanted to be nonviolent, and things like that. Could they all been united for the same goal, even if their ideology has been divisive? You know what I'm saying? But at least in this movie, you see it. The ideologies are sort of a little bit divisive, but they get together on one accord. You know what I'm saying? But Lil Baby, how Lil Baby could have waited? Shoot, she is with the well, she is in that household. She could have been, she could have got. Anything could have happened to her. Well, I don't. Well, it's like, well, how you gonna, I was kidding. Thank you, Oscar. Kid. One thing, the British Indian Army was also used against its own people. Fun. There's nothing, to quell these rebellions. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, she would have been a sacrifice for somebody. Was like, I get it. Hold on. I'm disturbed about this. This is the other. You mean you would sacrifice a kid, a little girl? You mean you? I expect this from a guy, but like, God, that's Ed, I'll just the way it means, but you, not you, Elion, not you, not Elion. Alien. Alien. Got you. She lived with them. She lived with them against Terrell. You act as if she went. Man. Cool. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, yeah, weaponry is good, but then it's good to have weapons. That's ruthless. It's good to have weapons, but also, do you have the economics to sustain those weapons and things like that? I mean, you can get them, sure, but those are just guns. You saw the British; they had artillery. They had artillery. Boom! They had artillery. The elders told him to bring her back, so that was the end of that. He would not have been able to go back to his community until he fulfilled the charge. Hey, see, that's why I like this so much. That's why I like Babe so much. He was like, I can't go back. But Raj too. He couldn't go back till he fulfilled the charge. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you can give those weapons, but then it's not. You see them practicing with the rifles, but then you have to understand rifle maintenance, because guns break. And this is turn of the century. These things break. You know what I'm saying? Guns break. They break down. They need maintenance and that. Then you have to think ammo. Even it's even in the movie. You don't spare your cartridge. They're not worth it. Psychological warfare. But yeah. The time of this key, right? Because they were in the country, and when the ammo runs out, then what? Exactly. What tools do you use? Like you saw them working with guns, but what about natural warfare or guerrilla warfare? Well, shoot, we don't have these no more. We want to go back to bows and arrows and swords and stuff. you can see them. You don't see them blacksmithing, which they were cool, man. Oh, the three man, what was that thing called? But the three thing that's like claws and whatever. I thought that weapon was cool. I wanted one. Like, ooh, yeah, this is nice. Sometimes it comes as a single blade. Sometimes you see three. Dependent. But yeah, I love that blade, man. Or the something like a whip sword. That's another thing that they, you know, which is cool. That whip sword that they have, but you didn't see that. Or like with the Sikhs, in the army, they actually had like those chakrams, and they would just, they were known for turning them around and just throwing them at you, and they don't miss, they hit, that was cool, what I'm talking about. But yeah, man, you know, India has interesting weaponry. If you ever look it up, and very interesting weaponry, as well as I would say exercises as well. But yeah, man, um, I found that to be very interesting. So you had the Great Bengal famine of 1943. Now, mind you, in 1943, this is because Churchill, but Bengal goes through more than one famine, but this was more played up because those grain resources was stored just in case there's another basically World War III, on, on the Eastern Europe side of the but you'll have, certain scholars say it wasn't Churchill's fault and things like that, or whatever. But, he didn't allocate those resources to help with the Bengal famine. So a lot of people died. They starved to death and died. You know what I'm talking about? Then I had this quote, famine or no famine, and which that's what he believed, man. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, they be all right. They'll repopulate. Which you find that, and ain't that the same thing they said about us? just hey. They always say that, but yeah, man, but for sure. So, um, moving along. But then you have, independence, August 15, 1947. Whew, you know, um, which, the British give them, but probably not the way that he liked, in a sense. You know what I'm talking about? Let's see. Sovereign Eats says she was made to be the mantelpiece showpiece for 2 shillings. Yep, both the both the mustache and feet were dedicated to the charge of the elder men from the community. Yeah, Roger. The depiction of loyalty to the community was cool. By the way, Jungle Scene was my favorite action. Yeah, it was, the jungle scene was cool, man. The jungle scene was cool. But my favorite scene is, sniping. That was my favorite scene. But yeah, it was a cool scene because it has all the fanfare, and like I say, it was like deity like, but that's what it was supposed to be. What I'm talking about. Church of, exactly, man. So you said it right there. What I'm talking about. you know, um, I used to think, how this guy, used to be, was Secretary of the Navy. I forget what the British called it. You know, well, he was head of the Navy. I was like, how you gonna be head of the Navy? And he that dang gonna be it. But hey, it is what it is. Where he looked like he ain't never swabbed. And, well, we ain't gonna say it like that. Let's see. Paint the side of of a ship. We'll just say like, yeah, you know. Um, I mean, we were learning about the EIC work. Hey, hey, we still are learning about. Well, you gotta understand the EIC only lasted until 1858. I can tell you about. Well, one thing about the EIC, at least when I'm always on the military side again. One thing about that military, they had a strenuous officer system or promotional system. So much so that's where the sort of the corruption happened. Just for the simple fact that you had people like, hey, we gonna give you this amount of money so you can retire, so we can so we can get promoted. You know, bring out the charge. What I'm talking about. And things like that. It didn't have a flowing military system in that sense. You know what I'm talking about. But also I would say, uh see, I paid attention to name. Cool shit. But it also fought in a lot of wars to gain more territory, which also plays in with the Duke of Wellington because he fought in a lot of those wars. You know what I'm talking about? You know, um, yeah, but we have even more after the ESC. Let's get to the cash system. Uh, when were the military bases established by the British? How did they come into power? Oh, you talking about the Star Fortresses, Chief? Because yeah, by that time they were building Star Fortresses. Um, but you know, yeah, who cleared the way for them to set up shop? I'm bringing this up today. Up to to today? I'm so confused. I'm really that now I'm slow. Like what? Because once it says so, I'm trying to figure out what you mean. Yo, no, I didn't run through all my slides. I still got a few more to go. But okay, but this is after independence, right? that's what I was going through. Like, if you see, that's India, and then they partition off Pakistan, and then disputed territories in Kashmir, which is still disputed, and then you have East Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh, you know. But like I say, that's happened after independence, and then you have like Pakistan is Muslim, and then same thing with Bangladesh in a sense, and then Kashmir is just disputed. Ooh, hold on, is there a let's hit the slides. Oh boy. Let's hit the slides. So yeah, man. You have that, and then you always hear about the wars between, basically India and Pakistan. I'm talking about as they fight throughout the years after independence. I'm saying they go to war more than one time. I'm talking about. Okay, that's the same thing. And so there's that, but like the most recent thing is the disputed territory in Kashmir. So look, I think I had one more slide, and then that was it. Shoot, if you wanted to make this thing a 40 slide presentation, just say something. I thought, we were just gonna cover it up to independence. You just say it. Here we go. See, y'all gotta be prepared for things that come out of nowhere. Just like, bro. They know you wanted up to date information. Otherwise, I would have prepared that too. Like, oh, why you didn't say that? So yeah, man. But yeah, 45. See, I can't write. See, there you go. Oh, if you wanted a dang on 2 hour. Ooh, that's like most dang on college courses ain't that. Oh, so we go at 45, huh? 4 and 5. But yeah, with the caste system, you have the Brahmins, which are the priestly caste, the Kshatriyas, which is the warrior class. The I get okay. Brahmins, Kshatriyas, the farmers, which are sometimes farmers, landowners. I know I'm missing one because the Dalit or the Untouchables are right at the bottom. Was it Sutra? No. How you say that word? But you have basically 5, but they only acknowledge 4, of that. Yeah, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Sutriyas. What's the last one? Oh, I forget the last one. I feel like I'm missing that one. Or am I? Brahmins, Kshatriyas. Dalit. Yeah, I'm missing the last one. Totally missing the last one. Because that also plays into, but I can't really remember it. Oh, okay. Jati. Okay. Yeah, I missed that last one because I was like, the farmer, then okay, Jati, got you. And then the Dalit, So that is the four classes, right? And that even in itself, I would say, in a sense, well, it's sort of ambiguous uh on that on the inner plane of each cast for a certain period of time, but then it's sort of upper play when the British get involved. That's why I found a little bit confusing in the sense, like you would, because it's sort of like you would think, it's always been, a issue or a violent issue amongst the caste system, but then you find out it's sort of ambiguous in a sense. It's not sort of until recent and modern times that it becomes that kind of violent in a sense. But it's weird to me. It's always been weird to me. But yeah, it's sort of weird in that sense. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, so but they all play, play a role. One thing is that uh like with the Brahmins, even the kings always listen to them because the kings were not even of the Brahmin caste system. You know what I'm talking about? They pretty much be considered part of like the king, the Kashrias, you know. Um what hold on, isn't the I wanna say nah, I ain't yeah, if I'm not sure I ain't gonna say. So yeah. Because I was about to say, one caste system played a pivotal role as being scribes, and they kept on being scribes. But I don't think, mm, I forget. Okay, V word. I'm so used to them being called Dalit as the Untouchables that I'm not sure. I but yeah, and soldiers, priests, urchins, den laborers. Yeah, I'm used to the soldiers being like farmers, um, and then the dollar or the untouchables. Yeah, but yeah, merchants, priests, fighters, merchants, and yeah, give thanks, chief, because yeah, you know. But the but, but I will say this, like when it came to like fighting, like or wars, it you already know who's at the bottom. The Dago Brothers. And they had the bottom. Look, the Untouchables was better, better fighters and heroic, more heroic than they were. But yeah, even the farmers, it had very crazy ass of heroism in that sense. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man, give thanks for that because I sure no forgot. You know, but yeah. So with that, man, that's uh Untouchables were the ones on the pyramid. You want to say under the pyramid, under the temple. They be the ones under the temple, or under the fortress. Let's say something like that. But yeah, for sure, man. Um, but join us next strong, man, because we are going to talk about Belgian colonization. King Leopold and all that. And we're gonna have to look, we're gonna have to put more slides so we can get up to modern times, Put that in there. We'll make sure we put that in there, Add that on there. We just ain't apparently we just ain't gonna cover it. Colonization. We got to put it, update it. What I'm talking about. But that one's gonna be interesting. Oh, more interesting one, man. To name dollar for themselves, but Gandhi called them Harijan. Got you for sure. So that's what we on, man. For next strong, which I'm probably more excited to be covering that. That's going to be very more interesting, I think. When we talk about that, if you want to see a movie about, at least one person, you can always watch the Lumumba movie, man, which that got me into, Belgium colonization and things like that, which I enjoy, what I'm talking about. So, check out for that movie. Is there another movie? I don't think there is, what I'm talking about. But if it is, we'll figure that out, man. This needs a part two. You left out the conquest of India and you didn't show us the comparison. Oh my. Okay. So, okay. She said this needs a part two. So, because this guy is like, he wants a part two. The guy gets a part two. So we gonna give him a part two because that's what he wants. Homie gonna get it. You know what I'm talking about. Now, Yafe, Sister Yafe got a question. So what it is, man? But yeah, so let me see. Okay. That was a wild time for sure. Well, yeah. we can sure enough give this a part two, man. Better, well, one better equipment, better discipline trained troops. You gotta understand, the British, drill, what I'm talking about, and had better discipline, and they had, see, you can't say seasonal, but professional soldiers. Whereas when it comes to the Mughals, they weren't full time soldiers all the dang on time. Um, and the Queens and the Call of Duty. Yeah. Well, you know how they go. Plus, we got to discuss the physics. What the governor's car being flipped and him floating and like Neil Matrix. Hey, look, you will see some stuff, man. You would definitely see some stuff. Like it comes there, it be there, man. Like for real, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Like, true. Also, how the hell one brother playing the drums at the the rain with those two doing the whole right from Thriller, bro? Let me tell you about that dang old saying, man. That scene got on my dang old nerve because you had this dude like, you know nothing about dance, like, and he doing a terrible Charleston and calling it swing. That's the Charleston. That lame dance. That ain't swing. That ain't swing. Where did he come from? You know. That wasn't swing. That wasn't even flamenco. Like he was trying to do. What was that? What was that? And what other one he did? He did tango, which it's like go away. Go away. Quit acting like you knew all and then you had a brother like shaking his head like that's not swing. But yeah, one bruh, just on the drums like only a melanated brother could pick up the beat like he was straight out of Delhi. Yeah, and how shitty so exactly, man. I mean, and then they just I thought they was gonna do the Kid and Play for a minute because that's what it looked like it was going, just a faster beat, but it looked like they was going to do the Kid and Play for a minute, I thought they was gonna do Kid and Play, That's what it looked like. Like they was doing Thriller, Kid and Play, things like that, man. It was crazy. Little Miss Brisbane got on my last nerves acting like it wasn't going to be a problem inviting him to the party. Acting like they don't know what's happening. White woman privilege. They can invite anybody to the party. They can invite anybody to the house. They can invite anybody to the party. And hey, ain't gonna be no problems. Being like Bing Crosby did he just carry home? He's like, homie, man, you dance so damn hard. He's like, man, I'm sorry. But yeah, you didn't run like that. Ain't nobody gonna find this. But yeah, man. That was a weird mustache, Roger looked like a Chester. Yeah, well, at that. Well, this is 1920. If this was 18. Like 90, then the twirling mustache I get, but this it's 1920. It's 1920. Sorry, it didn't make much sense. But then again, I was looking at the dang clothing anyway, because I swear one chick flat ironed her hair and was wearing stunner shades, and I'm like, this is not with the period. Why she got on stunner shades? Like she really had on stunner shades. But I was like, why she got on stunner shades? And why is her hair flat line like just like it wasn't even that good. But I was like, that is not a picture. Yeah, that was not my nerves, my question was, how did this line embarrass? No, so basically he got an ability like Aquaman. He can talk to animals. I don't know. That's his superpower. The power of magic. Still $12 though. Yeah, man. I did the lies he did. Hey, they were attached to purpose, Chief. They was attached to the purpose. They was all united under one goal to kill the British. That's what it was, man. Like for real, man. Like I'll eat you later. We gonna eat this one. We gonna eat these British right quick. But after this is done, you and me, we back on the enemy list. So yeah, man. But yeah, there was my own whoever shot them. That too. Who shot me? You're like, did you just shoot? You just shoot at me. Don't you know I am a bear? I am a wolf. Look, they had the whole well, besides Kai, they had the whole Jungle Book back. Hey, they was attached to purpose. I mean, hey, you see, no friendly casualties happen, right? So, that was my summation. You know what I'm talking about? Of the whole situation. you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, man. I would say that, what I'm saying, at Bay, just like how big, able to, day hang, being all wounded and stuff, things like that. What was the green powder they conveniently found when a tiger looks? How did the deer know the mango? Poison. Poison. Hey, I don't know. That beta, he thought it was. I don't know. He thought it was that tiger that probably ate his cousin last week. I don't know. He probably thought it was a tiger spawn and wanted to bite it. Shoot, I don't know. I think they didn't feed them for a few days. They tore up whoever did after they right. And here you go. You see Super Mario with the firefly. You was knocking that side. Hey. I didn't see him punch it, but that green power always tells how healthy it is for our bodies. Being was probably snorting chlorophyll crystals before. That's not. Nope. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna. No. Hey, it's probably how you got out animals in one truck. Probably how you capture them all and then get wounded. Not like last time, but hey, babe. Oh my god, let's not do this. But yeah, man, like he just hey, he takes his to the head. He takes his crystals to the head. He takes his to the head, mate. But yeah, why we doing this? But notice how agents never show themselves as inferior in their films. Even if they begin that way, they always redeem. No Asian boys in the hood or soul playing. This is a cultural. Yes, G. Now that you will see in more than one movie. If you watch them a lot, Like I watch them a lot from India and things. They never like they never do. Or like even in China, like that what was that movie? That movie with Jet Li when he founds that dang on martial arts group and whatnot, and they always reference as sick men Asia, and things like that, which was true. But sick men Asia and things like that, and this after Boss Rebellion stuff like that, But then what you see them become strong and united and things like that. You also see that in a lot of um Bollywood movies, especially dealing with this subject, they're always, you got the British. I mean, even though I'm surprised nobody had the question like, who they get to, play these dang British? Like, their accents totally off. But also that, you always see, the aggressor, but then you see them always rising up to the challenge and winning and beating them, man. You know what I'm talking about? You know, gotta so you ain't got no AZM boys, you know what I'm talking about? AZM boys in the hood, you know what I'm talking about? Or well, depending, I'm like, you ain't got no Asian boys in the hood. I don't, I mean, if you ever seen, what was he? I mean, Young and Restless. I used to mess with Young and Restless. That's when these, high school boys join, triads. that was Asian boys in the hood. Oh my goodness, my homie turned me on a Young and Restless. And he had this girlfriend who was a thief, but she had a stuttering problem. Whoop, whoop, whoop. But she was mad, she was scared to fight, man. But yeah, you got to go digging for those movies, though. Like, you really got to go digging for those movies. And those was only popular like in the maybe late 90s, early 90s. You got to look at the camera work. But yeah, early 90s. But yeah. Let me see. What you say? I read that they didn't know each other in real life as depicted in the film, but I like how they brought together two revolutionary stories. Okay. No, Captain Busted was cast perfectly. She looked as evil. She was enjoying this role. She probably took. If you look, speaking of that, I was like, don't she look a little? She look a little Eastern. If you ask me, I was like, this girl look a little Eastern. She just got it. She don't like. Maybe it's the tan. I don't know. It was like that. No, okay. Hey, she may up, but actually, hey, ain't known for. Surgery going up. No, it's the evil from John. Yeah, but I mean, hey, it is what it is with that one. You know what I'm talking about. But I had questions. That was my question. It was like, yeah, she, she look a little like milk curdling Eva Peronish, but not Eva Peron, but that's those are my questions, man. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, she was the evil from jump. But yeah. So she's actually well. Okay. Cool. See? Oh. Okay. Save my jokes for later. Don't tell me that's Elsa. Please don't tell me that's Elsa. Please don't tell me that's Elsa. Oh, don't tell me that was Elsa. Don't. If you say that's Elsa from Indiana Jones, Cause that ain't. I never known their names anyway. Which one she playing? I just say which one she playing because I don't know. Man, I don't. Hey, maybe she had it around her waist, around her corset, it was wrapped in her bodice. I don't know. She probably had it like that. You know what I'm talking about? Oh man! If she, oh, ooh, Elsa. It's ours and yours and mine. Elsa, honey, your hand, I need your other hand. I can reach it. But you should have listened to your father. How you know she was Nazi? She tossing him sleep. Oh, she is. Oh my goodness. Well, it could have been worse. She could have been Bridget Nielsen. It could have been worse. It could have been worse, man. It could have been worse. She could have. No, I did not fall asleep. Poor. I had something important to respond to. But yeah, man. um, yes, her. Yes, it's her. um, she dang sure did take that whip out of it. You know. Um, let's never. But that's why we lost it for sure, man. Oh my goodness, not Elsa. Oh, the Last Crusade was my favorite. Oh my goodness, the Last Crusade was my favorite too. Oh man, oof. I didn't know it was her. I did not know it was her. Oh man. Hey. I don't. Hey, I don't know. I stay in the trenches that way. I don't know. It is what it is, man. I mean, hey, I don't got nothing to tell about it. Save it just so she wanted to be, yeah. Or she does use it privately on the regular, where she take them home. Who knows? Uh, hey man. So yeah, man. Now we just joking. So, but yeah. So, but man, give thanks, man. Okay, so we gonna do part two of this, and we'll go into more in depth on the British conquest of India. Um, we'll go war by war, and we even break down that dang question. So yeah, man. But give thanks, man. Another one, fun, right? Man, fun and funny, fun and funny. But yeah, man, give thanks, and I will get at y'all later, bro. So peace.